Hey guys, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Hello. Ugh. Literally rolled out of bed. Rolled out of bed, made some coffee, and immediately went live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Showers are a breeze now. Huh. 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 Well, that's... Well, that's Pope Trump. That's, okay. I wonder how evangelical, or I guess Catholics are going to take that. I didn't even have to say nothing, bro. Oh, what is this? Can it be so that judges aren't allowing the USA to deport criminals, including murderers, out of our country and back to where they came from? If this is so, our country as we know it is finished. Americans will have to get used to a very different crime-filled life. This is not what our founders have in mind. Everything he's saying and everything that he has been saying and will say for the next couple of weeks is all in preparation to start deporting U.S. citizens. And I have a theory as per why. I believe they've already deported a bunch of U.S. citizens to CISA. And what they're trying to do now is make-up game. You know, a little bit of cover their tracks by making it legal so that when we find out that they've already been sending U.S. citizens to CISA in El Salvador, they're going to be like, but it's legal now. And it's like, but it wasn't when you did it, you know? That's what I think. That's my theory.
There's nowhere I'd rather be than right here in Tuscaloosa.
Nelson just sent 5 fucking memberships out there. Thank you, Nelson. I really appreciate that. Congratulations to Anonymous, to Veronica Quiroga, to Pack Mountain Silver, to Void Strider, and to Darren Axtell. Congratulations. You all now have access to the members' stickers, and you will be able to see the videos early.
Alabama, Titletown, USA. If you're here today and think that you're too young to do something great,
Bro, there were so many people protesting this.
let me tell you that you're not too young. You can have great success at a very young age. I've learned that perseverance is everything, so...
Any update on the Insurrection Act? Well, a couple of days ago, they signed that new executive order. It gives 60 to 90 days for the military to prepare to deploy in all 50 states. So, probably like, I don't know, 60 to 90 days. Yo, Chris, I'm going to a protest to stop my ICE community. They came here only around 2 weeks ago, so we're trying to stop them. No, you can say that. Going to a protest today to stop ICE in my... So, DJ, what you're doing is the right thing. However, it's illegal. And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but if you're going to try and stop ICE, you're all going to get arrested. If you're going to like try and stop ICE from arresting undocumented immigrants or something, you're going to get arrested, dude.
Whatever happens, no matter where you are in life, stay optimistic and just keep pushing forward. Just don't stop. Never, ever give up. This is Alabama, and in Alabama, you fight, 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 and you win, win, win. That's what you know how to do. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to this great class of champions. God bless you, and God bless America.
All right, Donnie. Peaceful protest at a local park. Okay, good. As long as it's being supported by the local DSA, you're fine. If it's an organized protest, you're fine. I wonder if we can get Trump's speech at University of Alabama.
Thank you, Coach.
How long does he actually speak? Holy ever-loving fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god, an hour. He's gonna speak for an hour. Dude, could you imagine having to sit through that? Could you imagine having to fucking sit through that? Oh my god. Are we gonna watch this? I don't even know if that's breaking news, bro. Anybody watch Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker's debate yesterday? It was fucking crazy. I watched the whole fucking thing. What is this? Trump signed an executive... Oh my God, how dare you. Executive order terminating federal funding for NPR and PBS, arguing it is outdated and unnecessary and corrosive to the appearance of journalistic independence. So, anybody who publishes a story that paints the Fuhrer in a bad light is no longer going to receive federal funding. It's the same thing with public schools right now. Any public school that doesn't teach that the Fuhrer is the best man ever, they're losing federal funding. PBS and its member stations receive about 15% of their revenues from the CPB. Oh, the Consumer Protection Bureau, they're so fucked. Doge has been gutting the CPB and the CFPB ever since Elon came into office, because the CPB protects people from being scammed, and Elon Musk is a professional scammer. NPR stations get 10% of their funds from the corporation, according to NPR. HHS conducted a review on gender dysphoria treatment for minors and found, quote, deep uncertainty about the purported benefits of many interventions. Oh my God. Researchers urged doctors to put more of an emphasis on behavioral therapy instead of puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery. Six Flags is closing down Maryland's Six Flags America, which is home to the world's third oldest wooden roller coaster. Not strategic fit with the company's long-term growth plan. Why the fuck is this in here? Who the fuck cares about that part? Why the fuck was that in there? Am I the only one that thought that just did not belong in there? All right, Washington. The Fuhrer said on Wednesday that he's not concerned about the impact of the continuing trade war with China on American consumers, musing during a cabinet meeting that, quote, maybe the children will have to have $2 instead of 30. Hey, Nelson, you're a new dad. According to Trump, maybe your kid's going to have $2 instead of 30. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. What a fucking piece of shit. Trump made the remark in response to a journalist who asked when he plans to speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping. It will happen. I told you before they're having tremendous difficulty because their factories are not doing business. They made $1 trillion with Biden selling this stuff. Much of it we don't need. You know, somebody said, oh, the shelves are going to be empty. Well, maybe the children will have to have $2 instead of 30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally, the Fuhrer added. But we're not talking about something that we will have to go out of our way. They have ships and that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need, and we have to make a fair deal. The Fuhrer concluded, we've been ripped off by every country in the world, but China, I would say, is the leading one, the leading candidate for the chief ripper-offer. Trump has imposed up to 145% tariffs on Chinese goods. Fucking nuts. Guy's such a bastard. Oh. I wonder how the market's doing. It's probably on the up. Hey, finally. Market's on the up. At least for the start of the day. It's good over the past 5 days. Hey, finally. Finally, after Trump's terrible fucking Liberation Day, we're making our way out of it. Dude, his Liberation Day is such a funny fucking plummet. Like, everything's all right. Everything's doing okay. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. It's Liberation Day. It's unreal.
Thank you, Coach.
Wow. Increased
what
speed.
a nice-looking group this is.
Put on 1.5.
And especially a very big hello to the University of Alabama. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
There are things that happen in life that are very important, and you always remember where you were when they happened.
Like
As a student
9/11.
at Alabama, you'll always remember where you were when your head coach, Nick Saban, retired. Remember that? Because he's done such a fantastic job. The last time I was here, and that's true with Nick. What a great coach. Let's bring him back. No, you have a good coach right now, though. You have a good coach right now. He was great.
That was
But
my
the last time I
graduation. I
was
would
here,
have
the
walked the fuck out. Thousands of students did. Thousands of students walked outside. There was a massive protest. Like, this is huge.
Crimson Tide beat the Georgia Bulldogs 41-34. I was here. I got to watch it. That was some game. Today, it's my pleasure to return to this campus as the first president ever to deliver the keynote commencement address to this truly great American university. It's a great
Address? Address. Address? Oh my God.
School.
Luigi.
And there's nowhere I'd rather be than right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Titletown, USA. That's what it's become. And I love this place. Maybe it's because I won Alabama by 45 points. Could that be the reason?
Luigi!
You know, the way they say, like, the polls have closed in Alabama. Trump has won Alabama immediately. It was
in Alabama, it's kind of surprising. It's a big walkout. You got to remember, bro, we're talking about a college university. People from all over the nation, people from all over the planet fly to go to these universities. Just because the university's in Alabama, it doesn't mean that the majority of the people in Alabama go there. And don't forget, we're talking about Alabama. The overwhelming majority of people from Alabama don't go to college, let alone go to University of Alabama, which is a damn good school, relatively difficult to get into.
Like, they put all 7 of your commencement ceremonies, I don't know if you know this, but they put them all together first time ever, so I better do well, or I'm in big trouble. But I want to thank President Bell for his 10 years of distinguished service, highly respected gentleman, but 10 years of service to this great university, overseeing the education of 100,000 proud Alabama graduates. That's something to have on your record. I also want to thank Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, who's here with us, and she's a fantastic woman.
Hey, guys.
You have a good sleep? You okay? Did you have a good sleep?
Yeah.
Where is she? She's around here someplace. She's here. I just took a picture. I said, you're doing a great job, along with the very wonderful man, a friend of mine, Senator Tommy Tuberville. Where's Tommy? Tommy's great. When he wanted to run for the Senate, you know, I said, well, you beat Alabama 6 times in a row. How can you run for the Senate? He said, well, I just look at him and I say, well, I was responsible for them getting Nick Saban. I said, that's a good reason. And he won. Very easily he won. But I'll never forget that. Thanks also to a wonderful person, Representative Lisa McLean, a great person, great, highly respected. Gary Palmer.
I'm not going to lie. I don't want to watch this. I don't give a fuck. I'm not listening to this stupid fucking orange Führer speak for an hour. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, so Waltz is getting kicked out of being the National Security Advisor. There's some grandma that harassed Ben Gavir. Apparently, MAG has been pushing anti-real ID now and rolling it out. They're not going to be able to fly. Well, they're all fucking idiots. Oh my God. Oh my God. Who the dude, people are in this. People watch this. People listen to this. Dude, what the fuck? I really wish I could see the video that they showed during Trump's 100-day speech. I want the fucking video. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
As a major achievement. They are the footsteps.
That's not what I want. I mean, we'll check this out, but
Democrats have vowed mass no-nonsense prison in El Salvador.
I want to know it, bro. Look at the comments. Dude, listen to this and then read the comments.
Democrats have vowed mass invasion and mass migration.
Look at this.
We are delivering mass deportation, and it's happening very fast. And the worst of the worst are being sent to a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador.
Maybe it's on whitehouse.gov. Actual Nazis support Trump? Yeah, I know. Why can't we see that video? Let me ask Gemini. You know the part where he played a video that was like a TikTok edit for mass deportations to CCON? Do you have the video that he showed the crowd? Where can I find that video? No. The video that he showed the crowd wasn't shown on TV. I want the exact video that he showed the crowd in Michigan. Peace out, Twisted.
To a no-nonsense.
Nah, this ain't working, bro. They're really hiding that video. If we can find a different perspective of that speech, I bet you we could find it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. I don't think I'm going to be able to find this. How is this impossible to find?
Trump.
In Venezuela to foment violence and instability in the United States of America. Can't let that happen. And it's not just, in all fairness, not. But I saw this horrible, horrible anchor. How these people get jobs? I wouldn't hire them to do the most menial of chores.
No, they don't show it in this, bro. It's probably been scrubbed. No, Jesus. Thank you. Fucking Christ, dog. Why was that so fucking hard? So this is the video that Trump showed. Okay? So let's see.
To a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador. Why don't you watch this? Watch this.
Alright, so I believe... Is this what he watched? This is a month ago. Let's just watch it from this perspective here. Fuck it.
To a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador. Why don't you watch this? Watch this.
Luigi! Oh my god. So wait.
To a no-nonsense.
We don't have that exact video, but maybe we've got clips of it here. Pretty sure today a judge shut down the Alien Enemies Act. Let me find out. You're such a piece of shit. Fuck you. No one's ever going to read your fucking failing journalist. Your fucking failing New York Times journal if you force us all to fucking pay money to goddamn read it. Go fuck yourself. It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. It's Reuters. This is the death of truth. This era is the death of truth. They have monetized truth. You want to know, you want to be informed? Pay. You want to know the news? Pay. I hate capitalism so fucking much. What up, Siege Pro? Welcome back, brother. Let's make a quick video. Make a quick video. What's up, guys? Welcome to the latest episode of the Valenti VOD. I'm your perfect and humble leader, Chris Valenti. And, you know, yesterday, Trump gave this commencement speech at University of Alabama, and it was fucked. Oh, wait, no, you know what? Let me start this over. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Valenti video broadcast. I'm your perfect and humble leader, Chris Valenti. And as you know, Trump gave that 100-day speech, the first 100 days of the Trump regime and fascism taking over. And there was a part of that speech where he showed the crowd this video of, you know, the El Salvadorian gulag, CICOT, where we're illegally sending permanent U.S. residents and starting to send U.S. citizens. And the crowd, they loved it. You know, they cheered like, yeah, shave that head, fucking shackle that man. Like, these are, just so you understand, the people in that crowd and the people cheering for that video are barely human. I am, you know, not like them, so I understand that even my enemies are human, which almost makes them worse. But these people are barely human. They have forsaken all humanity and all empathy, and they just, you know, they're in a cult. But we're going to watch a little bit of that, and we're also going to cover the fact that some judges have barred deportation under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, which is what Trump has been using to illegally round up brown people across the nation, no matter if they're a U.S. citizen or not, and use ICE to disappear them and then human traffic them. So we're going to watch the video just so that you can get an understanding of it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. This is real independent media. This is what it looks like. So if you want to help fund the channel, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can become a patron on Patreon for $5. You can become a member on YouTube for $5. You could buy some of this dope-ass Valenti Videos merch down below, and you could use that 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription on Ground News. But without further ado, let's dive into it. So the first thing we're going to listen to is just like the perspective of the people in the crowd, okay?
To a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador. Why don't you watch?
Turn the volume up.
Watch this. Watch this.
They cut to the end because the video is incredibly graphic. So you hear those chimpanzees chanting USA, USA, USA? Here's parts of the video that they were watching. Except with badass TikTok edit music over it, bro. Note how all the guards are hiding their identities. It's because they know that they're Nazis, and they know that their children are going to eventually ask what they did for a living, and they don't want their children to see videos of them being Nazi guards at the modern Auschwitz. Every single one of these guards is subhuman. What's going on? We're watching a video of what Trump supporters are cheering for at his rallies. He literally showed them this video with some badass music, and they chanted USA, USA. So this Alien Enemies Act of 1798 just today has been ruled to be unconstitutional and cannot be used to deport migrants. This is something I grew up being told we would never allow to happen again. No, when you grew up, they were when they said never again, they meant specifically to Jewish people. The whole idea of never again when it came to the Holocaust, perpetuated by, you know, people like fucking Israelis, that when they said never again, they meant never again will there be a Holocaust on the Jewish people. The Israelis are currently enacting a Holocaust on the Palestinian people. Americans participate in genocides daily. Same thing with every other Western nation. No Western power ever argued that there would never be a Holocaust again. They argued that they wouldn't allow it to happen to white Jewish people, but they would happily and willingly do it to brown people. So that's what the Trump, the MAGA voters were cheering and going hooting and hollering for. So I don't need to be the one to tell you. If you watch these videos and you're like, yeah, that's so great, you're a pathetic husk of a human being. Anyway, judge bars deportations of Venezuelans from South Texas under the Alien Enemies Act. A federal judge on Thursday barred the Trump regime from deporting any Venezuelans from South Texas under an 18th century wartime law and said President Donald Trump's invocation of it was unlawful. Now, this actually Trump responded to on Truth Social. Pull it up for you. So that federal judge, ruled that you can't do that. Trump responds with this. Can it be so that judges aren't allowing the USA to deport criminals, including murderers, out of our country and back to where they came from? If this is so, our country, as we know it, is finished. Americans will have to get used to a very different crime-filled life. This is not what our founders had in mind. So Trump is already preparing to disobey federal courts, just like he already did. I mean, the Supreme Court ruled unanimous 9-0 that the Trump regime must facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Trump regime refused to do so. So there is no more checks and balances. Donald Trump is not a president. Donald Trump is a dictator. If you disagree with me, you are wrong, stupid, and naive. U.S. District Court Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. is the first judge to rule that the Alien Enemies Act cannot be used against people who, the Republican administration claims, are gang members invading the United States. Rodriguez said he wouldn't interfere with the government's right to deport people in the country illegally, through other means, but it could not rely on the 227-year-old law to do so. Quote, neither the court nor the parties question that the executive branch can direct detention and removal of aliens who engage in criminal activity in the United States, wrote Rodriguez, who was nominated by Trump in 2028. But the judge said, quote, the president's invocation of the AEA through the proclamation exceeds the scope of statute and is contrary to the plain, ordinary meaning of the statute's terms. So, if you want to know what's going to happen, here's my prediction. This man, U.S. District Court Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. will be arrested. That is my prediction. He will be arrested. And then the rest of the judges across the nation are going to be horrified to uphold the law, knowing that if they try to uphold the law, which is their job, they too will be arrested. Now, why would Trump do that? Because Trump is a fascist. So let's watch this here. We got some NBC coverage, CBS coverage.
A setback for the Trump administration's immigration crackdown after a federal judge says it can't use a centuries-old wartime authority to deport Venezuelan migrants being held at a facility in southern Texas. The Thursday ruling from Trump-appointed U.S. District Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. permanently blocks the government from detaining, transferring, and removing Venezuelan migrants ages 14 and up at that specific facility. The Trump administration invoked the Alien Enemies Act in March to deport people it says are part of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. But the judge clarified the order does not prevent the administration from pursuing removal proceedings under the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. I know we're throwing a lot of laws at you. This is the law that has a provision that allows deportations of non-citizens deemed a threat to U.S. foreign policy interests. So for more, let's bring in CBS News Justice Department correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, I never thought I would be as well versed in the Alien Enemies Act as I am now, but I want to read something the judge wrote. The court concludes the president's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act through the proclamation exceeds the scope of the statute and as a result is unlawful. How did he get there?
Surprise. Trump did something unlawful and you're not going to hold him accountable for it and he's not going to see any sort of consequences for his illegal actions. Big surprise. It's almost like there is no checks and balances or rule of law in this country. And if you're rich enough, you can literally shoot a man on Fifth Ave and people will still vote for you.
Does this mean anything for other districts in which this issue will be argued?
This is being championed by critics of the administration and those who've been representing would-be deportees in cities across the country. The judge says in this 36-page ruling, Lindsay, is that the administration has overreached, that there's been no demonstration there's an invasion of America, that this is a wartime as was drafted in 1798 when this 18th century wartime emergency power was first implemented. That being said, the judge also added that critical component you referenced, that he believes, that he puts in his order, the administration can still deport people through the traditional means, through the traditional powers used for deportation. And Judge Rodriguez, in saying that, Lindsay, echoes what other federal judges have said.
Yes, but the Trump regime does not want to use the actual legal method of deportation because that requires due process. And if you use due process, you're going to find out that the overwhelming majority of these undocumented immigrants are not violent gang members and they've never committed a crime, which would then prevent you from deporting them. The reason why Trump used the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is so that he can avoid due process entirely. We watched an interview in the Oval Office where he said, no, they're not getting due process, but they're getting a process. Donald Donald Trump does not support the Constitution. He does not support the rule of law. He does not hold American values. All of his followers are cultists. This is not an American man. This is a Trumpian man.
These cases. The chief judge here in Washington, D.C., the one who had ordered those planes turned around on March 15th with that first wave of Alien Enemies Act deportations, he also said his order wasn't to free the people who were being deported, but that the government should use the traditional means under the law, that this does not necessarily rise to the level of a wartime in which the Alien Enemies Act allows non-due process.
If you look around at the United States of America and you think that we're in like wartime, if you actually think that we've been invaded militantly, like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Says deportations.
During a press briefing on Thursday, CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang asked White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, really one of the architects of the Trump administration's immigration policies, about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March. Here's some of what he said.
Let's see what Goebbels has to say.
This administration is not going to publicly discuss the inside details of our foreign policy and negotiations with a foreign country. And in particular, we are not going to allow a district court judge.
This guy has the weirdest childlike lisp when he starts talking for too long. He starts talking like this. He starts talking like Adam Sandler in The Waterboy. And also, this guy's an actual fucking Nazi, swarmy, shrimp dick piece of shit. Bald, bald, bald. His mother never loved him. His father was a weak coward, and he comes from a bloodline of weaklings, which is the exact reason why he's a fucking Nazi.
Judge to try to become the Secretary of State.
This is an issue that you have been watching closely and speaking.
And in particular, we are not going to allow a district court judge to try to become the Secretary of State.
This is an issue that you have been watching closely and speaking with experts on whether we're on the brink of a constitutional crisis. But
we're in a constitutional crisis, bitch.
We have Miller essentially saying that he's not going to let some judge enact foreign policy. How would you characterize the administration's posture? We know also that this judge in Maryland is refusing to give the Trump administration any more extensions to turn over information on Abrego Garcia.
A couple of particularly important things there, Lindsay. First of all, I suspect the critics of the administration may be printing out what Stephen Miller said today and putting a highlighter over the phrase, "We will not allow the courts to do something." That's the type of constraint between executive branch and judicial branch, the type of face-off that people find destabilizing, potentially troubling, when the executive branch says it's going to stop the judicial branch from doing certain things. Let's put that aside for a moment. The other issue is this. Stephen Miller argued unequivocally today that he believes, the administration believes, Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 violent gang member. There's a bit of a delta there between what they're saying from the podiums and at press conferences and what they're arguing in court under the pain of perjury. The judge has ordered information from the administration about why Abrego Garcia was deported that way, why he has not been returned as initially ordered by the judge, what his condition is there, and those answers have not been forthcoming. The judge pushed those deadlines, as you mentioned, to next week, but she'd like to hear this type of information from an attorney in court, not necessarily from somebody at a podium in a press room.
The Department of Homeland Security, Scott, has confirmed Thursday that Chris Krebs, the former head of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, has had his global entry traveler membership revoked. Krebs is a CBS News cybersecurity analyst. What more can you tell us about this?
You have your global entry taken away. It makes it more difficult to travel internationally. And for certain people and certain businesses, it makes it more difficult to do business or be employable. What the Homeland Security Department said, Lindsay, is that it's been retracted from Chris Krebs, this global entry program, because of a potential, if not ongoing, law enforcement investigation. Doesn't go into more detail. We do know from Department of Homeland Security records, somebody who's subject to a law enforcement investigation can be removed from global entry. But there's a bigger issue here, Lindsay, than just Chris Krebs. There's concern here that by taking action against somebody the president perceives as an enemy, somebody who stood up and said the 2020 election was fair, it was legitimate, it wasn't fraudulent, that if you could chill a perceived enemy by doing something like this, you chill other people from speaking out or criticizing your administration.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of fascism, is to establish...
A setback for the Trump administration's...
The whole point of fascism is to establish a environment of fear so that people will not stand up or speak out against the regime. That's what fascism is. That's what Trump is doing. Donald Trump is a fascist. Oh. Fucking Nazis. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the Valenti Videos broadcast. If you're here live, you stay. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me out immensely. I wish I had something to soften the blow for you, but I don't. The Trump regime is starting to attack judges. Some judges are fighting back, saying the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 cannot be used. But again, the Trump regime doesn't care what courts do. The Trump regime is fascist. There are no rules and regulation. Donald Trump needs to be arrested. Thank you for tuning in. If you're here live, you stay. Have a good one. What is your opinion how Mango Mussolini is going to deal with Indigenous Americans? Oh, I have no idea if he even knows what an Indigenous American is. Trump is bringing America back. Yeah, by deporting U.S. citizens, crashing the stock market, getting rid of due process, and destroying democracy through the use of Doge to illegally dismantle our government institutions, all of which you will cheer for because you're in a bootlicking cult. There's literally nothing Donald Trump can do that'll make you stop supporting him, Nick. No one's going to save you. No, he's making it great again. Here's a 14 key characteristics of fascism by Dr. Lawrence Brett, written in the spring of 2003. Donald Trump meets all 14 qualifications. Number 1, powerful and continuing nationalism. He meets it. Disdain for the recognition of human rights. He meets it. Identification of enemies/scapegoats as a unifying cause. He meets it. Supremacy of the military. He meets it. Rampant sexism. He meets it. Controlled mass media. He meets it. Obsession with national security. He meets it. Religion and government are intertwined. He meets it. Corporate power is protected. He meets it. Labor power is suppressed. He meets it. Disdain for the intellectuals and the arts. He meets it. Obsession with crime and punishment. He meets it. Rampant cronyism and corruption. He meets it. Fraudulent elections. He meets it. Donald Trump is a fascist. Facts don't care about your feelings. You are willingly supporting a fascist, which makes you a fascist. Congratulations, Nick. You're a fascist, and proud to be one. You need to make that a TikTok, bro? I've been banned on TikTok 9 times. I speak badly about the Fuhrer, therefore I'm an enemy of the state. I'm anti-fascist. Trump's a Christian man saving America. Trump's a Christian man saving America? Really? You ready? Trump's a good Christian, right? Trump's a great Christian, right? Good Christian man, right? Good Christian man, right? Good Christian man, right, buddy? Right, bud? I'm not Catholic. It doesn't matter what sect of Christianity you are. Donald Trump is a bad Christian through and through. Cheated on his wife with a porn star and then paid her hush money. What do you think of that? What do you think of Donald Trump cheating on his wife with a porn star, his fifth wife, and then paying her hush money to keep it quiet? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? All right, you know Trump raped a woman, right? Her name is Jean Carroll. He was literally held civilly liable for raping a woman named Jean Carroll. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Nick? Must have been a liberal court, right? Must have been a liberal jury. Must have been a liberal judge. Right? I messed with the haircut, bro. It suits you. Thanks, dog. I appreciate you. I'm going to end the stream soon, guys. I got to go take a fat shit. I got to go do some stuff. Nick says nah. Nah to what? The fact that he was held civilly liable for raping Jean Carroll? You're just saying nah when a court of law found him liable for raping Jean Carroll. Your response is nah. Your response is nah? You get a chance to check out my songs? No, but I will today, brother. I don't believe it. Trump's been slandered. Yeah, well, again, there's nothing Trump can do that'll make you stop supporting him. And him being found in a court of law to be liable for raping Jean Carroll, you just won't believe it because it's Donald Trump. Judge clarifies, yes, Trump was found to have raped Jean Carroll, July 19th, 2023. After Donald Trump was found liable for sexually abusing and defaming Jean Carroll, his legal team and his defenders lodged a frequent talking point. Let's see. The finding that Miss Carroll failed to prove that she was raped within the meaning of New York penal law does not mean that she failed to prove that Mr. Trump raped her, as many people commonly understand the word rape, Kaplan wrote. Indeed, as the evidence at trial recounted below makes clear, the jury found that Mr. Trump did exactly that. When we're saying exactly that, they're talking about raping Jean Carroll. Thank you for the $2, brother. But yeah, you support a rapist, Nick. You look up to a rapist. Yeah, I know, Nick. That's why I said liberal media, liberal judges, because if anybody talks badly about the Fuhrer, you immediately assume that they must be enemies of the state. Yeah, no, you look up to a rapist. Your idol is a rapist. You voted for a rapist. The President of the United States is a rapist. And you support rapists. How does it feel to proudly support a rapist, Nick? Because it couldn't be me. I have no idea. Yao Luz, thank you for the 10 euros. Revolution! I appreciate that. Oh, that's Jao. Jao Luz. So, Nick, what's it like to support a rapist? Do you ever feel shameful? Or do you just lock that part in the back of your brain? How does it feel to vote for a communist? You think Kamala Harris is a communist, the Democratic nominee of the Democratic Party in the United States of America, the most hyper-capitalist nation on planet Earth in human history. The Democratic Party, which is equally as corrupt as the Republican Party, the other side of the same coin. They have the same vested interests in they have the same corporate interests. They all support the military-industrial complex. They're all bought out by AIPAC. And you unironically think Kamala Harris wanted to abolish classes, create a classless society, evenly redistribute wealth among all 360 million Americans, create communes, and then become a communist nation? You actually think that, Nick? Or, in reality, is it that you don't know what communism is? And Donald Trump labeled her as phony commie Kamala, and you, who can barely read, assume that everything Donald Trump says is correct. And if he's labeling her a communist, she must be a communist. Granted, you, Nick, don't know what communism is. I mean AOC. AOC is a socialist. Now, real quick, Nick, before you ask ChatGPT, what is communism? And then I'm going to have to end the stream. But what is communism, Nick? Real quick, tell me, because you're so anti-communist. Tell me, what is communism? You're a dirty socialist. Another word that you don't know what it means. You don't know what communism means. You don't know what socialism means. You don't know what fascism means. You don't know what capitalism means. Real quick, without asking ChatGPT, tell me, what is communism? What is communism? Come on, brave boy. You got such a problem with communism and socialism. Tell me, what are they? Come on, be brave, Nick. Be brave, you little rat. Yeah, here's a hint. I literally just described what communism is. Try recounting what I said. It'll help. Communism is a I told you not to use ChatGPT, but communism is a socio-political ideology that envisions a society where resources are collectively owned, eliminating class distinctions and distributing goods based on need. It aims for a stateless and classless, moneyless society. So again, Nick, do you think Kamala Harris was a communist? Now that you've read what communism is, do you think Kamala Harris wanted to do that? Wanted to make resources collectively owned, eliminate class distinctions, and distribute goods based on need, aiming for a stateless and moneyless and classless society? Is that what you think Kamala Harris was? Yeah, bro, she's a secret communist. Okay, yeah, no, Nick, I hate to tell you, you're mentally disabled. The fact that you think Kamala Harris is secretly a communist because you've read on this, also, you have not read books on this. You cannot read. Your grammar is atrocious. You definitely did not read on this. No, she's not a communist, and you're very, very stupid for thinking that she is. Very stupid. She's further to the right than I am, and I'm not even a communist. I'm a socialist, and she's further to the right than I am. You've never read a book in your life, Nick. Anyway, guys, I am going to end the stream. I got shit to do. That's not nice. Trump's coming for you, buddy. No freedom of speech for you. Exactly my point. You're a fascist. Because I talk badly about the supreme leader, you want me to be rounded up, thrown in prison, sent to CISA, right? No freedom of speech for me. Yes, you're a fascist. You are willingly and proudly a fascist. You are a fascist. You are not American. I hope you understand you are an enemy of the OAL, an enemy of the only Americans left. You will always and permanently be considered an enemy of the people, and you will be held accountable. You are an enemy. You're not American anymore. By the book, you are a fascist. By the definition. So it's going to be empowered, so too bad. Exactly. That's why I know that there can be no bars hold. You are fascists, and you must be treated as fascists. You must be treated the way that we treat fascists historically, because there are no rules for you. You will be treated accordingly. I hope you understand that. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Wish you the best. Don't forget to watch the Valentivad tonight. We're going to have another episode of Rabbit Hole. It's going to be a good one, all about how we needed Herbert Hoover in order to make our way to